is so I thought I would speak on this. So one thing about me, specialize in return and fire, and I specialize speaking on people who attack us as a whole or as a group. And this thing with people thinking that black people are obligated and that we're community property and that we're obligated to include people that don't look like us and basically anything that anything we create. So, in case you guys don't know, and I'm gonna say this, I really don't mess with homeboy like that because I remember how he tried to diss, FBAs and black Americans, saying that we don't have no culture when the very culture he's saying that we don't have is what he's embodied and what he's adapted and what a lot of people have adapted. Like I said before, um, this is real talk. If you think I'm lying, Coleman Domingo said this in Candyman, the 2022 version, when he said people like what we create, but they just don't like the creators. And I find it funny that a lot of these people love to diss us and talk shit about us, but then at the same time, they try to emulate us. So basically, Kai Sanat is under a little bit of scrutiny and fire because, according to a few Mexicans or Latinos, they're complaining about that for his streamer university that he didn't have enough Mexicans. That take nerve. And once again, it's his university. He can basically pick whoever the hell he wants to pick. But at the end of the day, as I said before, Kai Sanat is he's a tether. So I really don't mess with him like that. I'm glad he's doing well. But when he tried to sneak, when he's tried to sneak this, and he's openly this black Americans. But since they're trying to group us all into one and categorize us, at the end of the day, he can have whoever he wants to have at at his streamer university. My thing is, I saw a video a few months ago that came out where you basically had uh these Latinos, in particularly Mexicans. Now I'm gonna say this: I don't have, Here's the thing: I will defend black people. Now I don't have anything against other nationalities unless they try to disrespect me or disrespect my people. When you disrespect my people, my race, hey, the gloves are off. Now, if this doesn't apply to you, then don't say nothing. But I'm keeping it real. I see this far too often. So let's continue. But nevertheless, um, I saw this video a few months ago where there was some Hispanic man. I think he was in Texas or whatever the case may be, but then he was getting interviewed by uh some other Latinos, and I'm gonna assume they were Mexican because this whole thing now, and that's been the topic of conversation the past 6 months, from basically I forgot what that dude's name is, that fat Mexican dude, and then other Hispanics on whether they should use the N word. Now, me myself, I don't care for that. And I heard Brother Phil speak on that, and a lot of black people are just not cool with black people using that word. Period. Understand where you're coming from. But another topic of conversation is about other people. Should they be using that word? And me myself, I don't give a fuck about that so-called. I grew up around black people. That don't mean jack shit to me. At the end of the day, you're not black. And this is what I'm saying. Every time we create something, even though that was just a way for us, a term of endearment or embracement, whatever you want to call it, that was meant and that was supposed to stay in between us because, like I said, um, I ain't heard too many stories about Hispanics being on those boats, those Mexicans being on those boats, Latinos or whatever being on those slave ships in Africa, because we know they wasn't there. I don't remember them being in them, yeah, being in them concentration camps. I don't remember them being, in the fields picking cotton and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, say this again: there ain't no damn black and brown unity. It's a myth. It's complete and utter bullshit. Because a lot of times when they ain't around us, they be talking shit about us just as much, or even worse than sometimes, you know, the other people. You know, the snow people. But I find that ironic. Once again, these people are always disrespecting us and talking crazy about it, but then they feel like they have the right to be included in anything we do. They feel like they should be included when we talk about reparations. No, that ain't got nothing to do with you. You put your own groups together and fight for reparations. Don't try to group yourself with us. And that's the problem with black people doing all this grouping and stuff. And the funny thing is, nobody wants to group. You don't hear people saying, "Hey, we have to include black people." No, that'd be black people talking that stuff because you have black people that want everybody to like them. I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it 100. Somebody got to say this shit. Real talk. These same people that sitting up here bitching and whining, you know, about, well, they should be more of them getting accepted to his streamer university. It's probably the same ones that have been on other platforms that have been, you know, dissing black people. We stand with Jeff Metcalf. Oh, we stand with Ashley Gonzalez. Oh, you people need to quit crying. Oh, the victimhood mentality. Okay, so now who's playing victim? I will never understand that. Why do you want to be around people that you don't like, that you don't respect, that you always talking crazy about? It's funny. We the only group of people that don't want to play. That don't want to play gatekeeper because a lot of these other people play gatekeeper, and we need to start being gatekeepers. And that's just real talk. You don't hear, but just like last year you had that Hispanic dude sitting up there talked about where was the Mexican representation in centers, and basically he got his ass. I'm talking about he got his ass cooked. I'm talking about everybody was making videos cooking that dude to the point to where he basically took down but basically he blocked the comment section to where you could make comments because he was getting his ass torn to shreds, and as he should. Do you see them talking about we need to include blacks when they make movies? They don't go out of their way to include blacks, but then you see us wanting to include them or include everybody else. At the end of the day, it's all about us taking care of us. You don't see black people begging to come into their spaces, but all of a sudden they just feel like we have an obligation, and they don't ask, they demand. And that's another thing that irks the fuck out of me. Where do you get off demanding that we have to do something because you say so? They have been practicing exclusion for a while now. And I see them go on a lot of these platforms, like I say, talking crazy about black people along with other non-blacks or, uh, you know, the melaninless people. because they sitting up there fighting for acceptance, but they sit up there and try to talk about us. I just don't get it. I just, help me understand, why do you feel like you are obligated to be in? Why do you feel like you should be included in anything we do? And then if we do include you, you sitting up there trying to tell us how many people should be included. Once again, Kai Cenat can have as many people that look like him, or at least have melanin like him, because it's hits program. He can't sit up there and say, "Yo, we feel like it's not okay." Well, start your own shit. I seen a video where they were sitting up there, sitting talking about, well, maybe we should start our own street. Yeah, maybe you should. Maybe you should start your own stuff. And see, that's the thing with black people. We've tried to start our own stuff. Every time we tried to start our own stuff, we tried to start our own areas. We tried to start our own neighborhoods. We tried to start our own governments. We tried to build stuff for that basically was just for us, and people had a problem with it. So I'm saying this: Kai Cenat can have whoever the hell he wants to have at his streamer university. He doesn't have to ask permission from Hispanics. Hey, how many Mexicans do you think I should have? And from what I've been told, he did accept some. Now I wonder, if the roles were reversed, how many of them would go out of their way to include us? And what I find funny, I just seen a video. I just seen a video where Latinos are intentionally trying to sabotage black people on jobs, or or they don't want to hire black people. Now, what I find funny, I'm in the Bay Area. Now, there is this supermarket chain. I forgot, they didn't change the name so many times, like two or three times, I think. It was called, I can't remember what it was called right now at the top of my head, but there are these Mexican chains of supermarkets. I think they distribution centers like in San Jose or Milpitas. I went in that supermarket. It's a Mexican supermarket. It's owned, I guess, by Hispanics. They didn't have one black person working in there. You go to a lot of these, you go to a lot of these Mexican restaurants where probably you can make an argument 30 or 40% of their customers are blacks, but they don't hire no blacks to work there. So we could be making those same complaints. We could be saying, okay, well, how come y'all don't hire us to work at y'all establishment? But then once again, they feel like they have to, they feel like they are entitled to be included in anything that that basically we set up for ourselves, for us to prosper, for us to build. And like I said, I've never seen groups of people who got so much stuff to say about blacks, always got something negative to say about us, but at the same time, they're emulating us, and then profiting off us. Help me understand that. If you don't like us so much, if you don't respect us, if you say we're criminals, if you say we're the lowest form of the common denominator that walks the face of the earth, once again, why do you emulate us? Why do you cultural appropriate us? Why is you going around saying, if we're stupid and all this kind of stuff, and ignorant and criminal, why y'all walking around trying to dress like us, try to talk like us, try to sing like us, try to dance like us, if you can't stand us? I mean, please explain that to me. Like, please explain that. Please explain that to me. You have this disdain and vitriol and hatred towards black people, but yet you think you are entitled and you have the right to be included in something that's was created by another black person, whether he's American black or he's an immigrant or whatever the case may be. Like I say, I really don't mess with Kai Cenat like that. But to sit up here and say that you are entitled to be part of something because you say so, once again, I don't understand. Stand this. Start your own streaming university. Stop sitting up looking for handouts like you tell us. Stop with the victimhood stuff. I'm just saying. It just goes to show you. It just goes to show you and prove to people that's in denial that black people make the world go round. Because most stuff that you see some way at some point is inspired by seeing a black person. Now, did Kai Cenat invent streaming? No, but he, along with I Show Speed, they're elevating it. And to me, the most poignant dude that's like streaming right now is probably I Show Speed. Right now, that dude is just killing it. He killed it with his tour of Africa, and then he doing a tour of the World Cup and stuff. And which, by the way, he was a victim of blatant open racism, which I'm gonna talk about that later on. But then I'm just saying, getting back to Kai Cenat, for the Hispanics that's sitting up here saying that Kai Cenat didn't accept enough Hispanics into his streamer university. Like I keep saying, what do y'all include us in? I don't never see them talking this. Hey, we have to do this for black people. We have to do this. Keep in mind, y'all were the same ones that were sitting up here saying, well, if they give blacks reparation, we gonna protest. Because keep in mind, I'll be seeing y'all on other platforms. And I don't troll. I don't usually say nothing, but I see a lot of y'all. I see a lot of y'all sitting up here talking crazy about black people. I'm gonna say this again. We not your N words. Don't call me that word because I might call you something. I might call you something else. I might call you something that you don't like. You not part of the tribe. If your culture is so rich, why are you trying to emulate ours? You want to sit up here and say that you helped create hip hop and all that kind of stuff. Well, then why are you inspired by black hip hop artists? Why do you try to rap like black hip hop artists? Why aren't you inspired by other Hispanic hip hop artists? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not even trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that because my problem is I see too many people that don't look like me, that are black like me, sitting up disrespected, dissing black people. But at the same time, they want to sit up here and they want to profit off black people and emulate black people. And then they don't want to give us our credit. You can't sit up here and call yourself not liking somebody and talking shit about somebody, but then at the same time you trying to emulate somebody. That doesn't make no sense. So you can save that. Oh, you feel no, 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 because I see this too many times. Yeah, he did accept. He accepted everybody. But you have the Mexicans that seem to be upset because, according to them, he didn't accept enough of them to their satisfaction. He accepted white people, he accepted every group. So what if the majority of the people that he accepted was black? That's his right, and he can pick whoever he want to pick. You can't tell that man how many different ethnic groups he have to pick, because at the end of the day, you trying to get in his program. Who are you to tell that man? Who are you to tell that man how he's supposed to run his, run his organization, run his university? That's the problem that I have. You trying to be part of his program. This ain't no, and don't try to compare this with Jim Crow and segregation. Because if you try to sit up there and compare this to Jim Crow and and systematic racism, you are a fucking moron. Totally different. Once again, you don't have to be part of his stream or university. You can, once again, you can start your own stream. That's all I'm saying. He does. You can't tell that man how many people or what type of or how many people from this particular ethnic group he has to include. That's what I have a problem with, and that's where I get pissed off. Because like I said, you don't see people extending their hand, going out of their way to include black people. These are the same people that say, "Oh, we have black fatigue." Well, if you got black fatigue, then why you want to be around black people so bad? Oh, because you can learn from them and emulate from them and profit from them. And then not give them their proper just due. Okay, make that sense. I'm too good at this. I've been doing this for a while. I don't like this shit. And like I said, not that I'm a big fan of Kai Cenat. I'm not a big fan of Kai Cenat. I'm just keeping it 100. But in this case, I'm defending him for people sitting up here trying to come at him for how many for his selection and who he decides to let be part of Raymond University. Once again, it's his program, his choice. What's to stop you from starting your own unit? Like one of the ladies said, maybe we should start our own streaming unit. Yeah, maybe you should. Maybe you should. I see this far too many times where people sit up there and soak up game and align themselves with black people, learn from black people, study black people, gain knowledge from black people, and then they turn around and start dissing and talking shit about black people. That's the fucking problem that I have. It's been a few videos. It's been about 3 or 4 videos from a Hispanic woman, a couple of Hispanic men said, "Oh, Kai Cenat didn't have enough Mexicans in that he accepted to be part of Streamer University." Well, how do you know? Do you have his books? Do you have the books? Do you have the database? So how do you know how many Mexicans he did or didn't accept? And once again, it's his university. I will never understand that. Because, like I said, it's a whole bunch of exclusion when it comes to us. So, like I said, these probably the same people, like I said, that go on other platforms, dissing, disrespecting black people, and talking crazy about black people. Can't have it both ways. You can't sit up here and talk crazy and constantly ridicule, stereotype, demean black people, but at the same time, you want to learn from black people, profit off of them. Now, I guarantee you, these same people that's gonna go to Streamer University, probably some of them gonna come out of Streamer University with the knowledge that they gonna gain from being aligned with Kai Cenat, they're gonna start using a platform to talk shit about, guess who? Black people. I'm gonna say this again. I believe that probably these same people that was begging to be part of streaming university is probably the same people that was going on these platforms that's talking crazy about Carmelo Anthony, whether George Floyd, all this other stuff. Tell Ryan Garcia to start a streaming university. That's all I'm saying. Start your own shit. Start your own shit. Who said you had to be part of university? You can't sit up here and complain about something. Who is you to tell somebody who who to select and how many people to select that may look like you to be part of somebody else's program, somebody's infrastructure? Stop the cap. Anyway, I'm out. Go to work.